Citizens, my name is Femennenly, and today I bring you another community contributor feature. This time we have Stuntman9630, we got there in the end, here with us, one of our EU CCs. How are you doing today, Stuntman? Are you doing well? Welcome into the channel.
I'm doing well, thank you for having me. This is a pleasure. Second time around, just about worked out.
Second time around. Unfortunately, we did have to postpone your first one. We do apologize about that, but it's great to have you here today. How's your day been going? What have you been up to today?
Oh, it's been a good day. I've finished recently I've been focusing a lot on the carriers, and I know YouTube and Twitch are just gonna be talking about carriers for most of this, and like their different views on how they think AA is, how they think the strike power is, so it's gonna be an unavoidable topic, but yeah, I've been having fun with it, so.
That's good, that's good. Well, speaking about the new CVs, as anyone who has been in our channel knows, particularly for the NA streams, there's one ship we always start off in, and that is the Perth, since it is an Australian ship, but I'm Australian. You did mention you were going to bring something special to come with my Perth with me. What are you going to be bringing in?
I'll be taking a British classic ? In the Furious, one of the new British CVs in testing.
Wonderful. Well, let's get straight into battle. And real quick, guys, hello everyone in chat. It's great to see you. Hello there, Facebook and YouTube. A quick reminder today, guys, if you are wanting questions answered by either myself or Stuntman, please don't hesitate to ask them. Just make sure you tag World of Warships so they are a little bit easier for me to see amongst the chat. I'm going to say this ahead of time. No, I'm not telling you when the Alaska is getting released. I cannot tell you when the Alaska is getting released. Please don't ask when the Alaska is getting released because it's not ready yet. Okay. Moving on into it. So, how are you finding the rework CVs? Well, did you play many CVs before the rework, or was it kind of a new thing you're picking up since 8.0?
I picked up the RTS CVs when Graf Zeppelin was going through her very final test version, and I got access to it as part of the CC program. So
September 2016? 17.
Maybe it was 17.
Yeah.
I can't remember when her last iteration was, but...
Yeah, September 17.
Yeah, so it was around about then I picked it up, and I was just like, I was playing it a lot, and that might be due to the nature of how she was back then, but that was kind of my intro, and then I ground up to Hear You, and then the rework came. Nice,
and how are you finding it now that you're playing it in live server? Because although, you know, we did have three iterations of the PTS... since it's come live, a few changes have been made.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of changes, seeing how it's gone, because we had the public bases on their own server, then we had 3 rounds of the public test.
Yep.
There was internal testing as well going all the way through it, so it's evolved a lot, and part of it's like, a lot of people I know have mentioned the infamous Okuryu and how she currently is, but...
Yes.
I just want everyone to be aware, she was a lot worse once upon a time. This is actually a toned-down version.
And speaking of that, we did announce today that we are releasing a hot patch. It is hitting, for example, the NA servers tomorrow to address some of the current concerns in terms of balance. Particularly the Hakaru is seeing some significant changes with the hot patch as well, guys.
She used to have a tier 8 surface torpedo. That was 18,000 damage per torp.
Oof.
We got off light with only 10k.
I'll say a little bit. Anyway. So what in the world does the term ringing the 7 bells together mean when you get the Twitch containers? Your guess is probably as good as mine on that one. That one, unfortunately, wasn't my brainchild. Ooh. Deryudra got one, Deryudra got one of our DDs. That's not a great start for us. A few people are asking about some of the changes to CVs in regards to anti-air. Guys, if you have not seen, on the dev blog today, we did release a very detailed explanation of how the new AA works, if you guys are curious. And we did also release the details of the hotfix that is coming later this week. Tomorrow on the NA server. I can't quite recall the times for the EU server and other servers. If you are interested in getting some more details on that. We are still very actively balancing the CVs, and it is something we said from the start that there would be some balances post-release, as not all data could be obtained from the PTS server. So, Oh, I'm getting torpedoed. That's not good.
My fighter's a bit too slow to help you. He's going now, though.
It's okay. I only hit the 1. 1 is better than 2, right? Anyway. Oof. So how are you finding the new carriers? Is it what you expected coming when you first heard about it on the PTS, or are you enjoying it? That's a big question. What do you think of it as a whole for the game?
I'm massively enjoying it. It's very... I'm having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of, obviously, new ship factor, so it's like, a lot of it's like new and trying to learn it all, so it's like, you get a lot of new experiences, so it's like, fresh, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I know what
But
you
like,
mean.
in like the actual gameplay of it, it's like, I see what people mean. It is semi-repetitive, but every game's repetitive when you boil down to it. I mean, even Surface Ship is, you point, click, shoot things, and hope you don't get killed back.
hope you kill something before something kills you. Totally get you that. Is there a particular tier of the new carriers you're enjoying more than the others, or are you just enjoying it all as a whole so far?
I'm enjoying all of it. The tier 10s, I think, at the moment are still just that little bit too powerful, which is obviously going to get reined in. We've already got the hotfix for a certain tier 10, so... Then, of course, the British are still being tested, so it's not my point saying how broken or not broken they might be yet.
Yes, that is very true. They are very much a work in progress, as is the ship you're playing at the moment, which is the the tier 6 Furious. So, you mentioned before that you've been working a lot of content. For those who don't know you and your content so far, can you give us a little bit of a rundown of what sort of content you make and where people can find it?
Yeah, so my content's primarily on YouTube. I started out doing stat previews, so whenever there was a new ship that got announced, I would take a look at all the information and compare it to every other ship that it was competing against. So we've got the Russian battleships coming up, so eventually, I'm a little slow on it this time around, I'll be taking a look at each Russian battleship and comparing how it looks to... so, for example, I can't remember the tier 6's name, but I'd compare how she compares to, like, Mutsu and New Mexico, things like that. So that's how I really started out, and now I'm doing more focused gameplay stuff now that I'm part of the program, so I can actually take them out and see how they handle.
That's awesome. And how long have you been working on World of Warships content creation? How did you get into it to begin with?
It's been about 3 years now, I think. I started out just doing some random gameplay with a friend, just testing out a new computer that I got. So I was like, let's see how content creation goes, because I've been doing YouTube 2008, just playing random games and just testing various channels with different friends. So there's always like something that I was like into, and I was like, you know what, let's try World of Warships. I'm a fan of the game. Let's see if the computer holds up. And thankfully it did. And what really got my break as to actually becoming somewhat successful, that just getting the program, was the stat preview series, because it was something that no one had done on YouTube. Like, occasionally you'd see a similar thread on like the forums or Reddit, but no one put it in like a video format. So I was like,
you kind of found your niche, hey? And the community kind of...
much.
Oof, I just took a big citadel on the back end of my ship. Oof, that did not feel good.
Yeah, it all started with the Dunkirk. She was going into testing at the same time as Scharnhorst, and no one was talking about Dunkirk, and I was like, why isn't one talking about this thing? So I made a video on it, and to this day, it's my second most viewed video.
Wow! Well, congratulations. It's great to have you part of the program. World of Warships, bring back the Kitakami. Were you around when the Kitakami was a thing?
I wasn't playing. I was most certainly watching, though, and it was a sight to behold. I wish I had my hands on her at any point.
She was definitely a little bit dangerous, and not just to the enemies, but her allies as well, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that Citadel on my tail did not do well for my life force going forward, but I will grab a few of the questions in chat as I let you kind of play on a little bit. Anything for Blitz? No, Paul. This is predominantly this is a PC stream, so I work on the PC game, and Stuntman is one of our PC community contributors, so we don't really talk about Blitz. The 2-carrier mechanic is a disgrace. Well, two-carrier games have been something for a long time, and remember, it is not ideal to have the 2 or even 3 carriers per game, but it's very dependent on matchmaking. Since CVs are so prevalent at the moment with the rework just coming out and there are a lot of players playing them, we want to make sure that, you know, games are occurring, so that's why it is up to 3 at the moment, but we are considering and looking at changes we might or should make to that in the future as well. So just because it's like this right now, guys, doesn't mean that it's going to change. How do you get those crosshairs? This is reticle number 7. You can get it in the vanilla game. Just go to your settings, controls, select crosshair, and it's static number 7. Why is CVs still untouchable for surface ships when they can harass you all the time, all over the map? CVs are very much, it's very much CVs can be touched. You just gotta kind of obviously get within range and shoot at them. Would you say that CVs are untouchable in their current state, Stuntman?
Untouchable? Well, by design, you don't really want a carrier on the front line getting hit. They're not really designed to be shot at, so I wouldn't say they're untouchable because they offer like a different type of gameplay. You're not meant to be hitting the CV, you're meant to be hitting their planes, which is because they're unique and they're the only type of armament you can actively stop from attacking you. You can't stop a shell in midair, you can't stop a torpedo on its way out, but you can stop a plane before it hits you.
Yes.
So you're not fighting the hull of the carrier itself, you're fighting the planes more than anything, and that's what your AA armament's for. But I understand what they mean by untouchable. It's like, oh yes, by design, you're not meant to have your carrier be shot at, but if you do, you don't last long.
That is very true. I can definitely attest to that point. Do you have to lock up the matchmaking at night? It seems erratic at times. Yes, we make sure the lockout has the matchmaking has a curfew, that's for sure. Yeah, William Knight says, I killed a few CVs last night with my dads. Very nice, William, good job. Continuing here. So guys, we do have, since we have a very special guest today in Mr. Stuntman, we are holding a very special giveaway, giving away 2 of his favorite ships to you guys, which are some premiums. If you guys are interested in joining the giveaway for today, I'm gonna pop the link in chat right now. In chat right now. Go ahead and click on that and get entered in that. Base entries are just for providing your username and what server you play on. If you want to gain additional entries, you can get that via following Mr. Stuntman on his various social medias. Here we go. So, I have to ask, I've just noticed in-game your name is Stuntman0369, but everywhere else it's 9630. Is there any reason for the numbers, or what's the deal with that?
The reason is I had an old account under 9630 for Wargaming products, then I lost it, and I was lazy, so I just did the opposite of my numbers.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the same for my Twitch account as well. So.
I mean, is there a story behind the numbers, or did you just kind of run your finger up one end of the keypad? What was the deal there?
I used a random name generator back in 2008, and that's what it gave me.
And it just kind of stuck ever since?
It has. Yeah.
Huh. I mean, if it works, right? Coming in with the torpedoes. So as I'm currently spectating your planes, what can you tell our viewers that is kind of unique or different about the British CVs over the other ones that are currently existing, the US and the Japanese?
Well, currently with the torpedo bombers, they have a converging pattern like the old Japanese carriers before in the RTS system, so they will get narrower if you're fully aimed. That's their main appeal. They're also relatively high alpha, but that's already changing in the next hotfix, I believe. At least for the tier 10 it is. I think the tier 6 might be staying untouched. I can't remember.
That's okay. But I did hear with the with those torpedo bombers is that they do actually have a really short detection rate. Really short range on them. So even though they do converge, you can't exactly lead them for a long time.
Right, they only last, with acceleration, I think they only go about 1.5 kilometers maybe, if you're lucky, so you have to get right up close to them, which puts them in a lot of danger for anti-aircraft fire. which is okay for the British since they have a little bit more health, but as the AA mechanics get balanced further and further, that might still be more risky. Well, it depends how the hotfix changes the continuous damage output.
Fair enough.
But yeah, now with the dive bombers, this is another of their unique mechanics. Instead of going up and dropping down on their targets, they fly level to their target, so it's a lot easier to aim. It feels like using rocket planes, just with a slightly different animation.
That makes sense. Do you find them more comfortable to play?
If I'm honest, they're a bit too comfortable to play. It's not the most demanding of mechanics in the world. It is just rocket planes to me, so I think they might be a bit too effective for what you're doing.
Fair enough.
See. It's still in balance.
Master Ollie says, tell Stunt I said hi, and hi to you too, Fem. Hi, Master Ollie, good to see you.
Hey, Ollie. Yes,
hey.
He was the friend that got me into the game, basically. Well, I got him into the game.
That's awesome.
He was in the very first video I ever did on this game.
So one comment I have seen a few people make in chat is, why did we release the CV rework when we did if it's in such an unbalanced state, or, you know, perceived unbalanced state? Well, the thing about it... the thing about that, guys, is there is only so much information we can gain from the data that's available on the PTS. For example, playing against bots is very, very different to playing against other players. And the shift in how players play and how bots play is quite dramatic in that, you know, the data is never going to be 100% complete. And it would be impossible to balance it based off that data alone, particularly when the games on the PTS were predominantly, you know, two player-based CVs on one team versus, you know, the other X amount of players being bots. We really need to push it into live environment to see how it plays with actual players in, you know, proper format, to really understand what needs to be balanced and how it needs to be balanced, so that we can get the balancing correct. That's why we made the decision to push it into live, and we are very honest and very upfront from the start, even in the devlog, including that, you know, hey, there would be balancing post release on 8.0. So that's why. That, and, you know, the rework had been coming for a very long time. If we, you know, kept postponing, it's a lot quicker now for us to get the data we need on live server, to push the fixes quicker, rather than to continuously test on PTS, and it take even longer. So that was the premise for getting it released when we did. You're doing very well on that ship. You've got 3 kills?
Yes.
You must be pretty proud of yourself over there.
I'm doing okay.
But will you lead us to victory?
Maybe. Texas is good.
That's good. Now you got 2 CVs.
Carriers versus carriers, and this is where the game starts to get a bit slow.
Yeah.
Because carriers are the hardest things to try and kill. So...
yeah.
We're good on point, so as long as we don't die, I think we'll be fine.
Fingers crossed.
How much health is our Ryujo on, by the way?
Our Ryujo is on... he is more or less full health.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yes. Wild Gooseman is asking, whereabouts are you from? It sounds like the UK to me.
Yes, Southern England.
Southern England, there you go.
More specific than that.
No, that's more than enough. Also, is there a list anywhere of all the CCs and where can we find them? Wild Gooseman, if you look on the World of Warships Wikipedia, that list is pretty comprehensive in there. I know on the NA forums, we have a list of all of our NA CCs. I'm not quite sure if the English have something similar. And Fix the Citadel issue on the Musashi has. It's really annoying because I was literally murdered by one salvo. That much health. I mean, if they hit you in the Citadel, to my knowledge, there isn't an issue with the Musashi's Citadel. I don't think we've had anything reported there.
She's just a big girl.
Yes, I mean, the Musashi is one of those ships, once she gets up close, particularly against some of the higher caliber ships with battleships, their guns, you know, she can take those Citadels pretty easily. Anyway. Let's do Japanese CVs get kamikazes? No, a car. And also, a car, can you please not use that abbreviation for the word Japanese? Either use IJN or just spell out Japanese completely. Thank you. Let's keep going. Regarding the giveaway today, guys, you do not have to be in the channel to win. We will get those just issued to the people who win those later. You do not have to be here to claim. Let's keep going forward. Guys, we do also have Radar X and Kami Samurai in the Twitch chat, helping out with moderation and answering questions if I do miss them. So, shout out to them for being here today. So, I mentioned earlier that we are giving away 2 of your favorite ships. Would you like to let the people in on what those 2 favorite ships of yours are? If you remember what you told me they were.
I do remember, yes. They're both Americans, which is a bit of a heinous crime as a Brit, but... yeah, they just are. It's the Massachusetts, the Tier 8 premium battleship, and the Boise, the Tier 7 cruiser.
The Boise, the one... yeah, they're the sister ship to the Nueve de Julio. Do you like... what makes you like the Boise better than the Nueve? Is it just the fact that it's American?
There's not really anything that really puts it over. It's just that the Nueve has a slightly more questionable history. That's where I'll leave that one.
Fair enough. That's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
I like leaving that one at that. World of Warships, can we start a petition to get Fem as a captain for the Perth? I would totally be down for that, but I don't know if my superiors would be. Hey, Gold Needle. Good to see you. Good to see you. Mullet Baby, that won't do a thing. Better ask Stunt who bonked him on the head, because I say for a fact his favorite ships are Tier 6 and both cruisers.
Is that Nep?
Yes, that is Nepgear.
Yes, Nepgear, my moderator. No, they're not my favorite ships. I assume that's going to be Graf Spee and Huang He that's talked about.
Oh, really? Are
they are the torture ships, as I think he calls them.
Those are the ones you don't like.
Yeah.
What about them don't you like?
It's not that I don't like them, it's just that I would rather play something else.
Fair enough, fair enough. Golden Eagle, when I say sister ships, I mean, you know, they were the same type of ship. I didn't mean literally sister ships. Anyway. Looks like we did... oh, it was a tie!
It's a draw.
Oof! I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah. It's hard to kill off CVs. I mean, we only have 4 minutes. And
yes.
They're both overlapping, so there's 2 fighter consumables up at any one time. It's just, there's no way to get through all that.
Okay, well...
oh, well.
How have you been progressing in ranked? Is that something you've been playing recently, or not really yet?
In like a year.
Oh no, you're not even a fan. Okay, well let's jump into something a little bit higher, and we can talk about some of the new AA mechanics. I'm going to jump into my Worcester because it's known for anti-air, my hyper American Worcester. If that's good with you.
Yes. Let me get my tier 10 second.
Yes. Yeah, that was a draw game. We did not have a winner or a loser because both teams had the exact same points at the end of the clock, unfortunately, but all good, all good. Welcome back.
Trust Henri.
Ooh, okay, let's go in with this one. World of Warships official channel. I want to ask you about public test 8.1. What does it mean? Fighters will have 3 aircraft per squadron. Instead of 2, it will have 3 now, as in 3 planes in that squadron that gets released. Anyway. So, you don't like the Honghae, but how do you feel about the Perth? Do you at least like the Perth? Give me a little bit of peace of mind. Because those two ships are very similar.
Yes. Well, Perth has 8 guns, which helps.
Yes, she does have a few more guns, but the Honghae, of course, has the torpedoes with the torpedo reload booster as well.
I'm not sold on that booster, to be honest.
No? How come?
Too situational for me. I prefer reliability in a ship, and that it never offered me that, so I never got along with it.
So you like reliability is a big one for you. For me, it's I need a ship that can survive because I'm a little bit prone to overextending, we'll put it that way. What would you say is your most reliable ship? Like the ship that will never let you down, as it were?
That would be Montana, easily.
Montana?
I don't think I've ever had a bad game in a Montana.
Really? And what makes her so reliable to you?
12, 16-inch guns, American super heavy shells, decent self-defense AA, mobile enough, stealthy enough. You just put her somewhere and she'll hit it, and she will survive. She just does everything.
Okay, so you're not the biggest fan of the Honghae. What if you had to pick one ship that was your ultimate? I never want to play this ship. For example, Sea Raptors was the Emerald. What would that ship be for you?
A ship I would never want to play. I think that might be Grash Bay.
Why?
I like the 283mm gun. It's good on Scharnhorst. It just does not work on Crash Bay for me. 6 guns with that dispersion just does not sit well with me.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's one of the torture ships for Nep to abuse me with.
Fair enough. Fair enough. If you were a new player, like starting the game from the very first time opening it up, what is the line that you would suggest to new players and why?
As an intro, I would probably say the Japanese cruisers. They introduce you to the heavies relatively early on. They've got decent protection for a cruiser, and they have that nice big punch, and it's not like rapid fire to the point where you have to be constantly looking and firing. You have a little bit of breathing room between each shot, but not so long that you get bored like you might with a battleship. So it offers like the best of both worlds of fast rate of fire and a good alpha strike. And Furitaka is one of those tier 5s that is like, if you fall in love with that, you'll fall in love all the way up until tier 10.
Makes sense, and makes sense. Okay, what is your favorite tech tree line then?
Ooh, tech tree line.
I
think I might have to give that to the French cruisers.
Why?
Yeah, it's got to be the French cruisers. When they got introduced, everyone was calling them somewhat bland because they were just cruisers that went fast. This was before they had like reload booster and stuff. So everyone's like, oh, it's just another typical cruiser. But it's like, that speed and the gun power is actually really, really good. To the point where I'm not... I feel like I can DPS anything down that I need to. So, it ticks that reliability thing that I was talking about earlier. It's just like, I know that it can deal with whatever it goes up again.
Yeah. Makes total sense, makes total sense. Okay, so you mentioned earlier about the Honghae's consumable, its reload booster, being a little bit more situational than what you would really like it to be. And then you mentioned, the fast reload boost on the French cruisers. If you were to design any module any consumable, sorry, not module, in the game, what would it be and for what ship would it go to?
Any consumable... I'd love a consumable based around secondaries in any form, because secondaries don't really get too much love. There's not many ships that really make use of them, and that's why Massachusetts is one of my favorite ships, because she does really good on secondaries. So having a consumable that in some way enhances that would be a dream. I'm sure the German battleships would love that one as well.
Yeah. No, I definitely know what you mean. The Massachusetts is very, very quickly coming... one of my top 3 premiums as well. So totally hear you on that one. Oof. This is why Femennenly does not play cruisers, because I get smacked to pieces in them. How are you doing over there? Much better than I am. Much better than I am, though. That's okay. I'll just rotate out, we'll get a little bit of heal going, and go from there again. Swap this back to the side. Guys, if you have not seen this new reinforcing the AA sector, you can bring this up by using the Tide key, which is the one next to your 1 key, or by using the O key. And this allows you to focus fire your anti-air to one side of your ship. As you can see here, I'm taking out these Lexington bombs quite convincingly. All they went down. Unfortunately, they did leave me spotted to the ball game for a little bit there, but we managed to move past that. Oof. Okay. I need to kind of stop being out in the middle in the open at the moment. Golden Eagle. I have admitted many a times on stream I'm not the best at pronouncing stuff. I mean, it's okay. Look, I'm sorry. I'm not great at pronouncing stuff. Apologies. The tilde key? Yes. I mean the tilde key. Yeah. So, speaking of something you mentioned earlier, the Soviet battleships. It is a challenge and a half to pronounce their names. Even with 3 Russians in the office giving me the rundown lesson, I very heavily struggled on pronouncing that myself.
Yeah, I'm dreading making those videos because I know I'm just gonna spend 10 minutes trying to get the name right and still get it wrong.
Yes. Master Oli asks, can you ask Stunt when, if at all, he'll ever play WoWs with me again?
The offer's open, usually.
Oh, I feel like there may be a bit of a story there.
Well, Ollie's not as into the game as he was. It's just one of those things where you just fall off the game and it's hard to like get back into it sometimes. But I also am rather bad at organizing things. Like if I was to like try and organize to try and play games with him. Like it's been a thing for like the past month. I haven't actually organized to play a game with him in a long time, so I just get distracted by everything and then I just forget. So
Packer asks, are the Russian BBs in Super Test? I haven't seen any in-game. No, the Russian Super BBs are not in Super Test. They've only been announced on the dev blog so far. If you guys have not seen the dev blog, there it is right there. You can also find the dev blog posts now on the individual servers forums as well. They're just currently out there as written information. However, they will probably be coming into Super Test and then CC's hands sometime after the British CVs are finalized, hopefully. Asymmetric Warrior Group. When are you going to admit this patch has not turned out to the success you would have wished it to be? Honestly, you know, there are definitely some shortcomings in this patch and definitely some areas that we need to address with the CV rework. We're being very open, as I mentioned before, and admitting that certain things would need to be patched post-release. This patch has actually given us a lot of information in a very short time, which is a good thing because we need that to be able to make these balance changes that ultimately we want to for the CV rework in the first place. So this patch, while in players' perspective may not have been what you expected us to want from it, it actually, you know, we did get a lot of information that we needed from the patch. So we are happy with it, and it's giving us a place where we can move the game in a better place even further still. Oof. I may be in a tad bad of a situation right now. Oh. At least I kind of moved in the right position there. Let me heal up again. This is why Femennenly does not play cruisers! So, I'm known as being a bit more of a CV player than I am anything else. Is there a particular class of ship that you tend to enjoy more than others, or are you a bit of an all-rounder?
I usually end up sticking with cruisers and battleships. That's where I normally lie. But with CVs now, in the rework, I'm actually leaning towards those a lot more often as well, so it's just not destroyers at this point.
Yeah? I'm not the best at destroyers either. Oh man. This Minotaur just came right around the corner and kind of popped right in my face. Unfortunately, you're probably going to need to carry us here if possible.
Yes, I will try. My dog is going manic in the background. Apologies.
Chris, what does Sue mean? The Wargaming, yes, I mean the Alaska the Devlog has said she is ready. Yes, but at the same time, you know, we've just released and reworked a whole class. We don't want to essentially have too much on our plate at once by releasing Alaska on top of that as well. We really want to get through the CV, or at least the initial part of the CV release, before we start introducing another ship. So that is why the Alaska is on hold for the time being. She will be released soon though, guys. That's all there is to it. Libere is an all-rounder. Very nice. Would you guys... That's a good question for those out there watching today. Are you guys more specialized players or more all-rounder players? And which one do you think has more merit? I remember Stunt's original favorite ship. He played many hours in his good old Krispy Kreme. Can you confirm or deny that?
Not one of the joke ships. Although, to be fair to that little tier 5, is actually not too bad once you get a good captain in it.
So, do you have any nicknames? Oof, you're getting rocketed there. Do you have any nicknames for any of your favorite ships? Because there are certainly a lot of different nicknames floating around there, out there in World of Warships land. Any particular ones for you and certain ships?
Not particularly. I don't really give nicknames to ships.
No?
There's probably some off the top of my head, but I honestly can't remember.
Not a problem.
Oh boy.
Oof. Definitely wasn't looking good for our team there.
All got held up at the top end of the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had those two battleships that were out in the far line. I really did not play well that one. Why don't we try maybe something a little bit nicer for us? What do you say about taking out those Massachusettses and giving them a little bit of a whirl?
Yes, do it. Full secondary spec, all right.
I am full secondary spec, so this will be good.
Ooh,
battleships with lots of secondary should be at the front with the cruiser and brawling. How do you feel about brawling battleships? Is that something you enjoy doing?
When it's safe to do so, yes. Usually when I have a little bit of an advantage, at least. I mean, being the very first, going in straight away when you don't know what's there, that's risky and often not worth it. But if you know you have the advantage, then yes, get in close, take some damage, get the secondaries blaring. But I'm very cautious with my players. I think a lot of people from my channel know I am very, very cautious when it comes to making plays. So that kind of
doesn't quite work with your play style, hey?
No, so a ship like Massachusetts is a ship that theoretically I should not be enjoying, but I really, really do.
It ticks enough of the other boxes for you, correct?
Yeah.
That works. Fem, how can you get the Hider? At the moment, the Hider, I think she may be available in the premium store. If not, you'll have to wait until she gets re-released in the premium store. Not quite sure if I remember which one it is at the moment, unfortunately. I want to hear how Stunt tells the Krispy Kreme story.
Oh, yeah. So that ship, when it was released, there was a bit of a joke going around, like people wanting me to play it and buy it and play it and show it. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'll play things that I know I enjoy. And then I can't remember if it was me or Ollie that made the suggestion, but I think it might have been me when I said, the day I make it as a community contributor, I will buy Ollie the Krispy Kreme. So when I got accepted into the program, I was like, okay, I've got to buy the Krispy Kreme.
There you go. I mean, it's a good type of donut, so why wouldn't you? I'm kidding. So, when you start off a game, what are some tips you like to give players on kind of positioning or how to play? What would you say your top tips for players are at the start of a game?
As unintuitive as unintuitive as it is, broadside. Like, I know that
Oh?
makes no sense, but if you're charging straight ahead, fully angled, you're going to be in the engagement a lot sooner, and it's going to be a lot harder to get yourself back out, especially in a ship like a battleship that doesn't have to be at the front lines immediately. So if you're broadsiding more, you're not moving closer to the center of the map, you're staying sort of on like the CD line, and therefore you know what's coming at you, and then you can make the informed choice as to when you should turn in or turn out.
I suppose it is definitely counterintuitive, but I guess, you know, once you get shot at, you have that option to move
once
out.
you're getting shot at, turn in or turn out immediately.
But probably not something you want to do necessarily in a cruiser, I would say. That definitely sounds like a recipe for a quick end of the game.
Actually, as in the beginning as a cruiser, I do recommend broadside even more because
Oh, really?
the battleship's going to be eyeing you up and seeing, nice juicy broadside cruiser, I'm going to hit that. And then you enjoy fire and turn in.
So you enjoy trolling the battleships a little bit in your cruisers, hey?
Yeah, bait them out on the first shot, make them unsure of how to shoot you, and then they have a lot more difficult time of judging where you're going to be.
Fair enough. Adolfo asks, is advanced fire training still a viable skill? What would you say to that, Stuntman?
Depends what you're putting it on. If you want some extra range on a destroyer, then yes, it's still absolutely worth it. If you want extra range on secondaries, yes, absolutely worth it. For an AA build, I would recommend going manual fire control AA, especially now that the hotfix is coming tomorrow, because it gets even more useful with the amount of constant assured DPS that you're doing. And manual fire control AA improves your sectors, so it becomes a lot more valuable when you're reinforcing. Oh, damn New York, you almost got...
I saw him too. I almost got my my full broadside salvo onto him, but unfortunately he sped up a little bit beyond where I was aimed. But that's okay. Looks like someone's got him now. So, the Massachusetts is one of the ships that we are giving away, but we'll play... it is not the first one. We are actually giving away the Boise first. Well, maybe we'll play that one and give that one away next. Again, guys, we are running a giveaway for Mr. Stuntman today, giving away his two favorite premium ships, the Boise and the Massachusetts. Make sure you guys enter that giveaway if you have not yet. I have just posted the link in chat for you guys as we proceed forward. What would you say are the biggest mistakes you see players make in-game, at any level?
Biggest mistakes is positioning more than anything. They rush in a bit too early, they don't push at the right time, and it's very hard to actually know when to do that, because 90% of the time you'll never know when to do it. You just get lucky half the time. But if you can recognize when you're outnumbered, when you should be pushing, when you should be just letting off and just farming them for a little extra damage, then you'll find that your average damage starts going up, your survivability starts going up, because you're not putting yourself at unnecessary risk. So, for example, on D right now, we've got a lot of things here. So, if a lot more of those ships were in a bit more of an advancing position, like the Gneisenau and New Orleans are currently running away,
yes,
this is a situation where it might be a good idea to push, but the enemy's still got a lot of health left, so
yeah,
just holding off, kiting, and making sure that they take a bit more damage, then we can go in for like a bit of a push.
Makes sense, because I mean, we got that nice juicy broadside Seattle over there. I don't know if you see him.
I have a bit of an island in the way for now.
Oh no. It's okay. I got a decent enough salvo on him, 10k off him. Give or take. I do see a lot of you guys are, you know, have a lot of concerns over this patch. All I can suggest to you guys is make sure that you guys are filling in the feedback forms on the forum. Make sure you guys are playing the PTSs when they come out if you want to affect change on the game. That's the best way to do it. Unfortunately, coming and complaining to me on live streams is probably the last the least effective way to get yourself heard, because I can't take notes. I have no way to kind of follow up with people from streams. So if you have feedback, guys, make sure you drop it on your local forums. For example, here's the link to the NA one. Any feedback you have, please make sure you post it there, because we are definitely interested on hearing it, but this is just like the wrong outlet to get your frustrations out here, unfortunately, guys. So if you, obviously we've seen a lot of the CC programs grow. EU brought in a load of new CCs. Over here in NA, we've had a load as well. What are your tips for someone who is interested in getting created in content creation, whether for World of Warships or any other game?
If you're trying to get into content creation... Oh, hello.
I helped. I got a Citadel for you.
Yes. So if you're looking to get in content creation, you need to know what you're trying to do. So for me, it was to go for the highly detailed, I'm going to analyze every single number, explain every single number, and be that sort of numbers guy, as my Reddit flair is. So that was like my niche and how I wanted to base my channel and essentially my character as a contributor.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an idea as to what you want to do with the game, go for it and just make content. That's really all there is to it. Just make as much as you can, make it regular, get a format if you want to do it like in a regular style. And the more you put out, the more you're going to get noticed, and it gets shared, and then it's a train from there.
Do you have any tips for people on how to actually get noticed? Because I've seen a lot, particularly in some of the NACC applications I've been reviewing recently, is people have no issue in making content, but they're not necessarily the best at getting noticed. Do you have any tips for people on getting noticed with your content?
To get noticed, I'm not really sure so much. That was always a thing that I was like, oh, okay, didn't realize that was okay. That was always a thing that I was like, you see a lot of people when they go on like other people's YouTubes and they like promote themselves, or they go on Reddits and forums, and it's like, I never really did any of that. It was never like part of my idea. I was just like, I'm just gonna put some things out, and
you got noticed from your content.
Yeah, some people were very kind to start sharing my stuff, and it was all kind of like going from there.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I don't know how I'm here. I don't know how it's grown. If I did know, I would share.
I would say it's probably definitely due to the uniqueness of your content and finding yourself that kind of niche spot within the community is definitely a great way to get noticed, particularly if not many other people are doing what you're doing. I know, for example, there's a load of people who do like replay reviews or just like refilms of replays, and if everyone's doing that, then you know, viewers have a lot of different people they can go watch. They're not necessarily going to stick with your content, but if you're someone like you who does very in-depth stat reviews, there's not very many other people making that kind of content, so you're definitely you're going to be the person that people are watching for that sort of material, if you were.
Yeah. One tip I would have is network with other people. See other content creators like you that are doing similar things to you, if they are doing similar things. Get talking with people, maybe do a collab video, play a couple of games together. And like, because I got a lot of supporters from Yuzral, who's been on here as well, and it's like, we were doing a lot of stuff. I did have a podcast series with some of the Brothers in Arms, World of Warships guys as well, and like there was a lot of networking going on with that, and it's like, share your fan bases and grow each other, which is very nice.
Very nice indeed. So you've definitely been in World of Warships for quite a while, it seems. Do you have like any key memories that stick out for you, that are, you know, close to your heart from playing the game, or any other interactions that came from the game in general?
A lot of the early memories were with Ollie and just playing the game, having some fun. Playing the Warspite back in the day. Warspite is another fantastic ship. I think she's third on my list, so...
Oh, yes.
Give away from her as well, so shame. But back in the days, she was the Tier 6 battleship to be playing, so it was always just a fun time. And I think I actually made a video of it where we were just dodging torpedoes from, I think it was a trio of Japanese destroyers that were trying to torp us. And I think in the end we dodged about 60 torpedoes. I think I took one torpedo. And it was just fun to watch them all sail past, and it's like, okay. It was a good bit of fun back in the days.
I remember one of my favorite things back in the day was taking CVs down the channel in Two Brothers, and kind of surprising the enemy with doing that. And most of the time it was successful, but I always got a good laugh out of that.
Yeah.
Asymmetric Warrior is curious. I'd like to put forward a valid question, that being, when you get valid negative points in a product and the points get deleted and silenced, but why? So, particularly, I can't speak for other regions, but I believe they're going to be in the exact same boat as us. When we receive feedback, we never delete it unless it is in breach of our guidelines for the forums. And that usually comes under the definition of if it is not constructive in nature, flaming, or trolling. So for example, you can say, I don't like something because of X, Y reason, and I think it can be fixed by doing A, B. That's known as constructive criticism. But when players come in and they're like, I don't like this, this is bleeping stupid, or something along those lines, that's not constructive criticism and is usually in breach of the forum rules. Only at that point do we hide the comments, because it is not leading towards constructive conversation. You know, we are always down for hearing, you know, what players don't like about the game, so we have the opportunity to address that. You know, that's why we have a very well-established CC program where we have almost 200 CCs providing feedback to us on a daily basis. You know, we have several hundred super testers from each region also doing the same. It all comes down to being constructive and being respectful when talking to the wargaming staff and other players. If you're doing that, then the content will never be removed. So that is my recommendations. If you're seeing your content being removed, then it is a high chance you are in breach of those, but we're never intentionally hiding or censoring comments otherwise. Let's proceed forward. Tell Stunt to take Halsey off his mask. It looks silly getting peppered by that. You have your special Captain Halsey on your Massachusetts with the colored flares.
Yes, it's fun seeing all those secondary shells go off with the red tracers.
Yes, I can agree with that. So we do actually have several special captains in game based off historical figures. Are you much into history?
Somewhat. I read up on a few things here and there. It was never like the main thing, but I enjoy it from time to time. There's always some good stories that you can hear.
Fair enough. Well, that kind of leads me into my next question. If you could add any historical figure into the game as a special captain, who would it be and what nation would they represent?
I don't actually know many historical figures in World Warships that would fit. I'm not very familiar with that sort of thing, so I don't know if I can actually name a single person that would even fit, honestly.
So I have to ask, how much damage did you do that one? Let's see who's better in a Massachusetts.
I think I only did 100.
You did 100? I did 128 with 3 sits.
I did 96 with 1. But I did get 4 kills.
Okay.
The Charles Martel was stealing a lot of mine. We were just moving forward on that flank, and we were just going through. And there was 9 kills between us on our flank.
Fair enough, fair enough. Mullet Baby, Steven Seagal was cleared of any charges, put him back in the game. Steven Seagal wasn't removed due to any charges that were made against him. The contract with Steven Seagal just simply ended, and we no longer had the licensing rights to use his image in game. That's why he was changed to John Doe. That's all it was, guys. Okay, how do you feel about maybe giving away the Boise? You think we should? Let's do it. Well, let's get a game in her, and I'll get up the giveaway, and we will get ready to pull out a winner, maybe. Let me log in. So guys, if you haven't already yet, make sure you get in on the giveaway. Our first winner will be receiving a Boise today. The second winner will be receiving the Massachusetts. Let's get into battle here. Terry Trott says Admiral James Somerville. What is the significance of Admiral James, Terry? When will the Dutch Royal Navy cruisers be introduced? At the moment, guys, we do have currently many lines planned for this year, next year, and even the following years. Unfortunately, it does take quite a while to develop the lines. If you guys have not seen, there is a YouTube video out there from the world of Warships that showed the time-lapse of, I believe it was the hood, getting modeled and added in-game. It took almost a month and a half for that ship to be modeled. Considering lines consist of between 7 or 8 ships per line, it can take substantial amount of time for them to get modeled based on the modeling department. So while it's like, well, why don't we have this line? Why don't we have this line? It does take time to develop these. So in time, guys, hopefully we will have many different lines from many different nations represented in the game. But you guys are going to have to be patient, as unfortunately we cannot just whip them up overnight. In saying that, Stuntman, what would be your dream line of ships to have in the game? What's your wish list of ships?
Wish list of ships. I want HMS Dido in the game. I'm not sure if you could get a whole line out of it, but I just want the Dido. British one? Atlanta, I'm all for that.
Oh, British Atlanta. We already have one of those. It's called a Belfast.
Belfast is... She's Belfast. Let's just put it that way.
Supreme Ghost 2 asks, when will the Graf Zeppelin be back into the stores? The premium CVs, guys, at very earliest, they will be returning at patch 8.2, at earliest.
Which means it might not be that patch. So don't get mad if they don't, because I'd be surprised, honestly, if it was that early.
I mean, that is our intended, as we released in the various informational portal articles on the CV Rework. If you guys haven't seen those, I will drop the links for those in chat right now. But, you know, things can always change. That's why I say at earliest 8.2, just to be on the safe side. Fuck you. Our developers work very, very hard, and this is the culmination of a lot of people's work. Yes, we understand there are still some balancing requirements, but calling for people to be fired, I don't think is appropriate. Anyway, will you add Carl Donitz sometime? Who are they and what did they do? There is a commander that a lot of players are looking forward to eventually being in-game. Do you know who I'm talking about, Stunt?
Probably not.
No? He makes a certain jingling noise.
Huh? I'm confused now.
It's a very mighty jingle.
Oh, right. Yeah. I blanked for a second there.
I was like, oh boy, if we need to introduce you to jingles, then, that's not good.
I'm aware of jingles. My brain just stopped for a second there.
No, you're okay. I did see someone ask in chat earlier about the Mighty Jingles Captain. He is flying to Russia towards the end of March to work on the assets required for his commander, so you can hopefully expect to see him maybe end of May, maybe June time, if I was to guess a time period. So if you guys are curious when he will be coming, I would say around that time period is probably a safe bet. So you say the Boise is one of your favorite ships. What are your tips for playing her, and how would you spec her for someone who hasn't played too much of her?
Well, her selling point immediately is the fact you have 15 6-inch guns at tier 7, which is a fairly ludicrous amount when you think about it. Most designs only have 12, so you have a lot of raw alpha behind you. And because they're 6-inch guns, you absolutely need IFHE to be effective. You need to go through that 25 and 32 mil pen threshold to really start to hit things. And the good thing about the Boise is that it fits the light cruiser line of American cruisers almost perfectly. It uses islands to get free salvos off. It can open water fire if you need to. It's not ideal, but it can do it. Yes. You have good rudder, you have good stealth. So, and it also has the ability to take a lot of damage thanks to the mega super heal, whatever you want to call it. It's an increased rate than what a normal cruiser would have. I don't think it's the exact same as the British. Maybe it's the same as the British at high tiers. I can't remember now.
It is. It's not quite the same. It's a bit
very
different.
Similar. So you can have a lot of health to play around with, provided you don't get blapped immediately.
Yes,
which is a real concern in a cruiser, of course, but...
Yes, it is a trait of cruisers of getting blapped. That is not necessarily the most fun in the world. Oh, no.
Yeah, she fits very well with the Helena, the tier 7 in the tech line. It fits very much in the same sort of thing. It works as a great captain trainer. And once you get used to the mobility not being fantastic, it's a lot of fun. 6-inch cruisers are some of the most fun I have in the game. So aside from the super cruisers, which we can't give away, unfortunately, since they're free XP or coal
Correct.
or whatever resources they end up being.
Yeah, free XP coal, very much the case. Yeah, we don't give those ones away. You have to earn them. So
I tried, guys. I'm sorry.
He did ask, but I was like, ain't happening, chief. Speaking of getting blapped, I knew I had to kind of go around in front of that Missouri to turn 100% around, and unfortunately I did eat the blap on the way back. Okay. So you say you're not the biggest fan of ranked. Why is that?
A lot of that comes from like the early days of ranked, in the first few seasons, where it was salt-inducing, to put it kindly. I'm aware of all the improvements that I've made since. I'm aware of like the arms race deal that's going on now with this current season, the sprint seasons where it went to different tiers, and it's like I keep thinking maybe I should try and get back into it, but then I'm just like, no, I'll save myself that. As much as the rewards tempt me, I'm good for now, just playing randoms. There's a lot of test boats to go through, especially now, so it's like I don't have time.
Fair enough, fair enough. How about co-op? Is that something you enjoy doing? The missions or the campaigns?
As an initial run, the operations were a lot of fun. They were a nice new experience, a breath of fresh air more than anything, and it was just nice to have something different. After you get all the rewards out of it, and you've done it a couple of times, it gets a little stale, which makes no sense considering random battles are the same for the most part, but it's just one of those things where it's like it gets repetitive even though random battles are also repetitive. My brain works weird with those sorts of things.
I think probably with some of the co-op scenarios, it's more not so much repetitive as it is predictable in some cases. Like you know where
you know the enemies that are going to spawn. You know your objective, it's the same objective. Random battles, you might end up capping, you might end up charging everyone down. It's like there's a little bit of difference there, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring up co-op is we did have a few people in chat asking about the co-op CV bots. Guys, at the moment, we do have full intention of eventually bringing back CVs into the co-op. At the moment, since the CV interface has changed, 100%, and the way that CVs play has changed 100%, we need to reprogram the bots to work with the new mode. That is why, for the time being, we did remove them. So we have a chance to get them reprogrammed, and they will be added back in at a later date. So they definitely are returning in the future.
Yes, all these things need time. As a fun little story from some of the earliest testing, which I think I'm allowed to out now, it's been a long time since that one. The bot CVs did exist, just because they hadn't removed them yet and hadn't started working on them. But there were occasions where you would see them, and all they did was use rockets, and they figured out how to snipe them at 10 kilometers. So I would rather not have that. I would rather not let anyone else experience that, because it wasn't exactly the most fun.
I can imagine on that one. So yes, guys, we do.
Thank you for taking a bit of time with that.
Yeah. Are you adding more ships to the Australian tech tree, cruisers, destroyers, and CVs like British CVs? Wayne Hurst, there is not an Australian line. It is known as the Commonwealth line, which makes up, which includes ships from the Commonwealth nations. Think Canada. It's the only other Commonwealth country I can think of. You're English. Help me out here. What are your Commonwealth countries?
Commonwealth. That would be Dominion of India, New Zealand, Australia.
New Zealand's not Commonwealth, I don't think.
Was it not?
Nah.
Oh, okay. I guess they weren't Commonwealth. I can't remember now.
I know, right? It's a tricky one when you're thinking off the top of your head. You're like, oh yeah, Commonwealth is. Wait, no, that's not Commonwealth anymore. Neither's that one.
Did India have a ship? I'm not sure if India had a navy.
Well, I was gonna say India, but they're saying
they have a navy.
I mean, I know they're. Oh my gosh. We're gonna. I was about to say we're gonna call it Friday, and that's why we're struggling right now. But then I realized it was actually Wednesday. Oh, it's been one of those ones. So you predominantly make YouTube content. We have dropped your YouTube link in chat several times. Is there any other places you make content, or where can other people find you and
Most of
interact
the time,
with you?
it'll be on my Discord server. I post all the news from World of Warships on there, anything that I'm doing content-wise. I'm trying to get back into streaming, but since that's not 100% finalized, I'm not going to promote it too much, because I don't know what I'm doing with that. So... no point saying anything because I'm all over the place with it still.
Fair enough, fair enough.
But I will do special streams occasionally, such as for 080 release. I obviously streamed a lot of the British carriers to see how they felt. I'm going to play... I'm going to grind up one of the new CB lines to see how it is to go for a full line grind, so I'll probably do a special stream of that. I want to do it this weekend, but we'll see. It'll all be on the Discord. It's the easiest way to interact with me and interact with the channel.
Sounds good. Guys, if you did not know, we do have Stuntman's Discord link as part of the giveaway. Why don't you guys go ahead and join his server if you guys would like to keep up to date with everything he's doing, and even talk to him more about his content and kind of find out what he's all about in terms of his statistic-based content. And, oof, I'm getting... Unfortunately, I haven't been playing this too well, and I've been going broadside a lot. Oh, and now I've just bumped into someone. Just trying to get that DD out of base. Because unfortunately, we are kind of getting a little bit pigeonholed into the back of the map here.
Yeah. It's not going great.
No, not right this second, it's not. I'm trying to come back, trying to... help, but it's just, unfortunately, I have eaten quite a bit of damage quite quickly this game, unfortunately. Well done, you got that Seattle down. You guys, you're being hassled by that, well, actually, I guess technically you wouldn't be, because, oh, that poor Ashio that doesn't have anything it can actually really shoot at.
Yeah,
or drop its torpedoes
he's a one-shot as well, so if he gets spotted, I will have him. Although I think I'm about to get killed by an Iowa here. This does not look like it's gonna go well.
Oh no, that was the Seattle next to me.
Just about survived against the Iowa. And this is where the superhero comes in.
Well, I'm about to suffer a very similar fate here from the Nelson. Potentially, or the Seattle, or both. Hoping I can survive until the game ends.
I think
they're
going to
somehow.
kill me and that's how the game's going to end.
Well, that will work for me then.
Bismarck, no bully.
Okay,
Just
guys.
got away with it.
Oh, no, this might be me. Oh, no. I'm good still. Oh, there you go. I died and I saved you.
I survived.
Anzac. No. Okay. Well, I did 100 and... Well, we came top 2 in a tier 9 game, so I feel like that in itself is pretty respectable for the Boise. But how about we pull our lucky winner for the Boise real quick. I'm gonna get it. Let's take a look. It is someone from the North America server. Congratulations, monkeyboy_1. You are the proud owner of the Boise. Well done. Thank you, Stuntman, for picking that ship up for him.
Yay. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy it. It's a very fun little tier 7.
Okay, well, I picked most of the ships today so far. Why don't you pick a tier for us to play at now? I'll let you have a go.
What shall we take out today? What could be a nice little bit of... What haven't I played in a while that might...
Joshua Matlers asks, do I know Jingles? Yes, I've met Jingles several times. Is there anything about the 0 damage pen hits to be fixed? Andreas, I don't have any information on that at the moment. Will UK CVs be introduced in 8.1? To see what's coming in 8.1, you're going to have to wait for the PTS patch notes to come out or the official 8.1 PTS to come out, which will be later on in March. We've only just had 8.0, so you guys are going to have to hang tight. But we do have the hot patch of 8.0.1 dropping tomorrow.
Let's go for some tier 9 and some Jean Bart.
Ooh, Jean Bart. That is actually a ship I've been doing very, very well in ranked in. I've almost... I tried my, I tried using a Kitakazi, but it didn't really work great for me, but I've had a lot of luck in the Jean Bart instead.
She's very, very fun.
She is. She is actually one of my favorites to play, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. How do you like speccing yours?
I spec mine... How do I spec mine? I assume... Yeah, I spec mine as my mixed concealment survivability build, so I'm taking concealment expert and fire prevention. I've only got 16 pointer on this while I'm training up Jean-Jacques Honoré, the special French commander, taking advantage of that improved expert marksman and adrenaline rush.
Nice. I'm probably specking this all wrong, and I'm gonna have people yelling in chat about me, but oh well. I'm just specking it quickly, unfortunately. Let me just quickly... I'm just loading up some consumables. That's not what I wanted. So we spoke a little bit earlier about scenarios. If you could make a scenario for yourself, or even in event mode, what would your event mode look like?
I would love to see something for carriers, almost as like a tutorial, almost into how to strike and how to best approach a target. So something such as like the sinking of Yamato. I think that's a fairly significant event that could be covered. So you could have a lot of you could have, say, 3 or 4 new carrier players that want to learn how to play their ship, and you could allow divisions, and they could go and attack the convoy as Yamato makes her final journey. So it'd be a nice way to experience how to control the planes, how to line up an attack, use the different armament types, and just sort of like as a chill learning tutorial experience. Because we don't have too many of those currently, so something for the new CB mechanics would be marvelous.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Okay, let's Jean Bart this up. There's 2 of us. How do you feel about the front guns? A lot of people make the joke that the Jean Bart is like the bigger version of the Dunkirk. Do you like the 2 forward guns sort of design of this ship?
I very much enjoy it, yes. It having to worry about getting that back turret out because, oh wait, I don't have a back turret, so I can just keep my nose pointed in.
And it's also nice because
I find I turn too much.
It's also nice because you don't have to worry as much about your turret rotation speed if you can, bow in a little bit more.
Yeah, so your guns are almost always in the direction of where you're meant to be fighting, and if they're not, someone's on your side, something's gone a little wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get flanked to that degree, well, I mean, that would be something else. Okay. Remember, guys, if you are just joining us, today we are joined by Stuntman9630, who is one of the EU community contributors, predominantly YouTube-based, stat-based, looking and comparing at different ships as they come in. It's great to have you once again. Thank you for joining us this evening.
That's a pleasure. Having a nice, fun evening right now.
Yes. I've completely mind blanked on the question. Hero, chat, occasionally you have it. Chat, if you have any questions for Stuntman, please don't hesitate to ask them. I'm sure he'd love to answer your questions for you. Now, you mentioned earlier that there is a lot of work in progress ships incoming pretty soon, or, that you guys have got your hands on at the moment to do some testing with. Are there any standout ships for you at the moment? Any that you're really looking out of that collection to for them to be added into the game?
There's definitely one. My viewer base, well, technically 2, since she's still not out, but my viewer base knows how much I love the supercruisers. It was a class with Kronstadt that immediately clicked with me, and I was like, I need more of these. I want more of these. Is there a German version? Is there a British version? I just want more of them. So the Azima that's currently got down tier to tier 9, I love it. I love it so much. Alaska as well. I want that ship to be released so other people can enjoy it.
What do you think of the decision to down tier the Azumo? Sorry, the Azuma.
I think it makes a lot of sense. The design, it's directly competing with Alaska in design. It was always struggling to think of why should this be a tier 10 over the Alaska? What does it bring to the table that makes it a whole tier higher? And for the most part, it was just the extra little bit of reload and a good HE shell. That was kind of the only thing she had. So it was always like, she's good. I mean, all the super cruisers do perfectly fine. There's never a problem with them, but was it really tier 10? And now they've got her in a tier 9 version, and they've given her cruiser dispersion, which is an experience.
Oh?
So nice. I love... it's just so reliable. And it's just like, I like that cruiser. I want it dead. Oh, wait, I just killed it. Yay.
You cruiser killer, you.
Yes. I mean, it's what they're designed for, and it's what they excel at. Alaska as well, with the improved auto pen angles, it's like, they are designed for it, and they excel at it. And my kiting sort of mid-range playstyle just fits them perfectly.
Makes sense. Boxlands, when will the second winner be announced? A little bit later in the stream, after we play the next Massachusetts game that we will play, we will announce and give her away after that time. I will say, guys, if you are one of the lucky winners of the ships, it will take us up to a week to credit them for you, so please do not expect them straight away. They usually get done pretty quickly, but we like to just give ourselves a little extra time just in case there's any issues. Ooh, we're gonna try and get some sneaky shots here on the Des Moines. Got a little bit there. Got a little bit. Any info on any tier 9 or tier 10 German premium ships? Unfortunately, Mug Wumpus, we do not really give any insiders tidbits on any new ships that are coming up in here. The best place to get all the information on the new ships is definitely going to be the dev blog, which can be found either here, I've just dropped the link in chat, or you can also view it on the forums after it gets posted. Fam, use the AP shell more. What is either typically speaking, and ranked is a pretty strong indicator of that for me. Jean-Bart, would you say HE or AP is more effective? And what's your consensus on that, Stuntman?
For me, it's AP, 100% all the way.
Even
well,
against your angled targets?
Depends on what's angled. More or less, yes, I will still continue to use the AP because you can go for superstructure shots, and half the cruisers you'll be fighting can be overmatched as well. So the AP can still do reliable damage, but when you need to shoot at, say, an angled Yamato, it's like, okay, you're probably not going to do too much, not the greatest amount of superstructure, switch to the high explosive shell. That's
interesting. For me, in my Jean-Bart, I've had more luck flying the HE because I find that, particularly even if you have yourself a broadside cruiser, a lot of the time I end up just over-penetrating them because of the caliber of the guns in comparison to the armor. So I actually have better luck with the HE, and particularly, you know, with the destroyers in rank, that was another area I was kind of heavily dependent on it. Do you find yourself overpenning cruisers a lot with the AP? Because that's something I definitely find to be the case a lot of the time. I actually have more consistent damage in with the HE, believe it or not.
Yeah, it does happen. These are high velocity guns, so they just go through armor. It gives them very, very high pen, but it also has the downside of giving them the situations where you just overpen cruisers at close range, but I'm usually not at the closest of ranges, so I don't feel it as often. I'm usually at mid-range shooting against slightly angled targets, so it doesn't happen as often.
That's fair. I mean, I'm very much more of a brawler in my ships. I get in quite close and I kind of just go for it a lot of the time. It's both a curse and a gift kind of playing this way. But yeah, I've definitely found the HE to be a lot more kind of reliable for me in that regard.
Yeah, so in this situation where we're going up against the Des Moines, high explosive is the way to go. He's got 27 mil bow. AP's not going to do too much. Also slightly worried about this black here. He's Gonna talk
Yeah.
very, very soon.
He's already thrown one set at me. Okay, but it looks like their team is predominantly in the southwest quadrant of the map.
Yes.
Which makes it nice
now we
for
have
us.
control of this side. We can pin them in like we got pinned in last game.
What is my rank? My rank is currently on 5-0 at the moment. Or I'm 6-4, 6-3. I don't know if I won or lost my last game. Anyway, let's keep going. Dun, 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 dun. Got some... Oh, black radar.
Yep, he's leaving now.
Yeah.
I think he dumped Torps and left.
You reckon?
He's gonna run into a Moskva though.
Oof. Moskva or 2 Jean Barts and an Oodaloy. Take your pick. I think I'd go for the Moskva, personally.
Yeah, those 220 guns are gonna hurt, and you can't hide from him.
Mm-mm.
And
Definitely
there's a
not.
Neptune coming to help him as well, so...
Oh, I found the torpedoes, though.
I went for you instead.
I only took one, though, luckily. Managed to kind of skate through the other ones. Let's keep going forward. Codes, please. We're not giving away any codes tonight, but you can definitely check out the Stuntman giveaway that we are doing. We still have one ship that we are giving away, which is going to be in Massachusetts. We have already given away the Boise tonight. Do I have all of the ships unlocked? On this account, which is my EU press account, yes, I do. I do not on my personal account. How about you, Stuntman? How many ships do you have collected at this stage?
At this point, I'm up to 130, 140 odd.
Wow.
I've gone through a lot of the cruiser lines, a lot of the battleship lines. I haven't actually completed a single destroyer line yet, and obviously the carriers I'm going to start going through now as well with the patch, so...
Fair enough.
I've got a lot of premium ships on the account, so... That's where most of them are actually coming from.
Oh, I'm... right in the face. Oh no! But I'm gonna get team torped! Ugh!
No! Oh, it's fine.
It's only a little bit, but it still counts, man. I don't think the Oodaloy expected me and the Massachusetts to kind of come to a head like we did.
Probably
Who
not.
won the Boise? That was the very lucky monkeyboy_1 from the NA server. Okay. Since the CV's over kind of gonna be south of us, I'm gonna put my anti-air on the left side of my ship. I think that seems the right way to go right now. Well, this game at least has gone in our favor, although I have not done a whole lot of damage myself. How about you?
I'm up to 60k, so doing all right.
Yeah. This game was a little bit harder considering predominantly there wasn't very many ships on our side of the map. It was mostly that Des Moines, that DD, and the 2 battleships kind of rotated out before we could do a whole lot with them.
Yeah. Oh, I spy the Lexington.
Ooh. Shiny. Oh, and he's sitting still too. My favorite. Don't mind if I load me some AP here real quick.
2 Citadels on him.
Ooh, tasty. Unfortunately, he wasn't detected when I fired mine, so I only got overpens. There we go. That'll work. Hi, Osvaldo. How it's good to see you. Good to see you. Another 10k of the Republic. A little bit from the Iowa. So while we've just had the big rework, and there's no getting around it, it was a very, very big rework with lots of different changes to the game, and, you know, with that then causing a shift in the meta to occur as well. If you could change any one thing in World of Warships, anything, whatever it is, no matter how crazy it was, it could be that, you know, battleships now shoot rainbows out of them instead of shells. What would that be? What would your dream change be to the game?
Dream change. Not sure. I would love to see the space mode. I'd love to see more and more ships get their space versions. Maybe not so much the tier 10s, but some like mid tiers get the space treatment, like Space Fiji or.
Yeah, you're a big fan of the skins.
The space skins are wonderful. I really do enjoy those reskins. Every time there's an event, like the art department always makes something spectacular. The Halloween event trilogy that they made, it's visually amazing.
Couldn't agree more with you. We have a very talented art department, that is for sure. Have you seen that both the Halloween and the space skin on the high tier CVs, they actually have special planes on them as well. The planes are actually skinned too. What do you think of that?
They're amazing. I love that. I always want more customization stuff. So if there are more skins that give some camos for planes, that would be incredible. I'd be all for that.
So here's a kind of topical topic for you, and one that you know us at Wargaming have a pretty strong stance on, and that's to do with the matchmaking limitator. At the moment, obviously, matchmaking is limited. It's +2, -2. What is your opinion on that?
I'm fine with it. I really don't see too many issues with it. Yes, there are plenty of ships that suffer when they get +2, but in World of Warships, you can damage any other ship no matter what your tier is. A tier 1 could, in theory, damage a tier 10. Obviously, you are massively disadvantaged, but you can still do something. There's never a situation where you can do literally nothing.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I like over World of Tanks, for example. World of Tanks, there can be situations where you literally cannot pen an enemy tank 2 tiers higher than you, so you're just stuck there thinking, I guess I could try and go around him on the other flank, but then there's also another tank over there that I can't pen, so it's like, you find those situations where you just physically can't do something, whereas, like, high explosive in this game means that you can do anything to most ships. There are very few ships that have enough resistance to all high explosive. So I'm fine with the +2, -2. Like, if ideal world would +1, -1 be cool, sure. But at the same time, it's like, well, now you're gonna have to rebalance a lot of ships and make sure everything's going well. It's a lot more work when +2, -2 is going fine. I'm not saying it's perfect, because I know people will jump on that. I'm saying it works fine.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to get picked up on that if I don't clarify.
I will definitely say, I mean, if you are to, and I mean, we have no intention of moving to a +1, -1, that's because it would really limit the variety in the game and be very kind of restrictive into kind of what you're seeing. I mean, you can't always be the biggest fish in the tank, and sometimes you know, it's not impossible to be top on the team in being an under-tiered ship. It's all about kind of learning to play in those trickier situations, which ultimately does make players better. I think it's about time. The giveaway will be about to close, guys. Make sure you guys get in it if you have not already. We're going to play this Massachusetts game and then give one away at them straight afterwards as well. World of Warships, when is the earliest you can see British CVs coming out? March. Draw handle. Unfortunately, we do not announce when ships are being released here. They come out when they come out. You'll have to keep an eye on the dev blog. And the, guys, !enter won't do anything. You have to go to the website and enter that way. Okay? Thank you.
Yay, top tier.
Oh, we are? But yeah, sometimes you guys, to get into the giveaway, guys, all you need to do is go to this link and follow the instructions there. Oh, it is now closed, the link. Okay. So, we'll give this one a run. But yeah, that is why we at Wargaming have the stance that +1, -1 won't happen, because it will just severely limit the variety of games, and kind of that's not a good thing. Okay. Where are you thinking of going this match? What's your preferred position on this match? This map is one of my least favorite ones to play, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, when it comes to map positioning, I don't usually pick a favorite because I know eventually I'm going to have to go to the other side anyway. But I usually base it, in a battleship, I base it on where I spawn. So right now I'm in the middle, which is kind of like making it awkward. It lets me choose. But I think I'm going to go down to the south side, like H3-4 area, see what's down there, see if we can push. If not, then we can just hover and see what we can do.
Sounds good. Let's proceed forward. But we did recently make some matchmaking changes. I believe it was patch 7.9 or 7.10 or maybe 7.11. It was one of the three. The patches in my mind kind of blur together what came in what. But we did make some changes to the Tier 8 matchmaker to prevent the number of games that Tier 8s will be in, and try and restrict that. Of course, that matchmaking limitation does go back after the first person has been in queue for over 3 minutes. But a lot of players did comment at the time that they do feel like Tier 8 has gotten a little bit more friendly since that change, which is good in our books. So we've talked dream captains. Have I asked you what your... Yes, I did ask you what your dream ship would be. You want the British Atlanta.
Yes, Dido. I want it.
But do you need it? I don't think you do.
I think I might.
Oh, I do love the sound the AA guns make, that ducka 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 sound. Check out those flak clouds.
The visual aspects of the rework are amazing, and I love it.
Totally
all
agree
those
with
flak
you.
bursts going off.
Well, it looks like we
nice.
It looks like we might be a little bit alone over here at the moment, with just you and I heading this way. That Pef is heading more center. The kid doesn't quite know what he wants to do just yet.
There's a few angry Germans heading our way.
Yeah, we've got the Gneisenau, the Bismarck, and a Fuso for good measure, kind of moving this way from the enemy team. Okay. Finally, the enemies are in view. That Bismarck is what I'm firing at. Oh, I think I underaimed a little bit. Yes, I underaimed quite a bit. How would you explain to a new player the best ways to aim? What works best for you?
For me, it was finding a crosshair and sticking with it. So there's no point trying to hop between crosshairs, because you'll find that what you learned on one won't work on another.
And
so
what crosshair do you
use? I use the very default one. I've not moved from the very default one. I learnt with it back in the... So it was like, if I change now, I'm just going to have to relearn. So I'll just stick with what I've got. But I'm sure the other ones that have like the angle views on them, or the dynamic ones that adjust with speed, I'm sure those are going to be very, very helpful. But I don't want to relearn my aiming, so I'm just going to stick with the one I started with. And
Fair enough.
It becomes more of like a natural instinct and reflex as to how to shoot, and once you get to that point, you're pretty solid. It's just practice more than anything.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. I do use one of the, I use the spider reticle, so number 7, the one with the angled lines, as you, you noticed, and I definitely find it's easier for me to shoot those angled ships with it, or kind of judging where to shoot on ships with it, but I do agree that, you know, once you've learned a certain way, it is swapping to something else does make it, you know, a whole new learning experience, if you will.
Yeah.
I did get a nice...
You can avoid that.
Yeah.
Then...
So yeah, picking something and sticking with it and learning how to play with that is a great way to go, guys, if you're wanting some tips on kind of getting good, as it were. I don't know how that's going to play down, but we'll go with it. Ooh, another 12k off that Bismarck from me. The front one.
Yeah, I've got the back one right now, broadside. Secondary's opening up. from stealth thanks to the smoke screen as well.
Yeah, I was chilling in that smoke screen a little bit myself.
So I'm on fire as well.
And then kind of also understanding what speed is indicated by using the smokestacks on the enemy ship is also really a good skill for learning how to aim. Would you agree with that, or not really?
Yeah, the smokestack's very, very useful. You can judge the speed of your target, and it becomes, again, it's one of those things where it becomes instinct. You see enough ships moving, you're like, I know how fast this ship normally goes. That smokestack looks like it's really moving, so he's probably going his full speed. But it can still even be confusing, even when, especially when they're like in that limbo state of they're just about to start accelerating from stop, they're just slowing down. It's like that's where it gets really dicey. It's like maybe I'll just wait 2 seconds and then fire.
Yeah. Monkey Boy, how long does it take me to get the ship? They will be credited within the next week. Usually it will take a day or two for them to get credited, so you just have to be patient. Oh, can I kill still this? Nope. Apparently not.
Yoink.
Oh, nice. You got that other Bismarck down. Very good. Good job. Now we can start pushing upwards.
Flying for a while.
So we will be drawing our second winner of the Massachusetts after this particular game, guys. So stick around. And then we'll probably have time for maybe one more game after this one with Stuntman to round out the evening with his feature. Thank you guys all for being here and coming out to check out and hang out with us as we talk to Stuntman. It's been great to have you guys here and to have Stuntman here, of course, as well. That Fuso on the back line doesn't really seem to know what he's doing too much. Okay. Let's keep proceeding forward. I do have my anti-air targeted on that side to try and help with those planes, except for you're a little bit far out at the moment to be too helpful. Well, for me to be too helpful for you.
Yep, it's fine. I've got 2 of them so far.
Nice. What do you what is your take on the opinion of anti-air at the moment? We have a lot of players, some saying, you know, it's too weak, others saying it's too strong. What's your opinion on it at the moment?
I would say that right now AA can be strong, but it's 100% reliant on the carrier more than the actual AA ship, because a lot of the damage is focused around the flak burst rather than the continuous damage. So a lot of the time, if you know what you're doing and can dodge the flak, you'll be able to get almost all your attack runs off. Whereas if you obviously hit the flak burst, you're going to start losing a lot of planes. So
yes,
both sides experience the OP AA claims, you experience the it's not doing anything claims in the same thing. It's all dependent on just the flak burst. So with the hotfix intending to take some of that damage away from them and put it back into the continuous DPS factor, I think that's going to really increase the AA power of ships. That's something like Atlanta, for example, which is 100% reliant on its flak bursts, which are dodgeable. So it's like you can dodge the most infamous tier 7 AA cruiser, you can just avoid all of it. It's like maybe not the best idea.
That is actually a really good point, because prior to the rework, you know, all of anti-air was, you know, is consistent damage, and there was no way to avoid anti-air. Now with the flak bursts, as you mentioned, those are to a certain degree dodgeable, avoidable. So depending on the CV skill, it can seem in some cases that your anti-air is absolutely doing nothing, but in others it can seem that your anti-air is really, really strong. And yeah, as you mentioned, luckily we are going to start with some of the balances that are coming in this hot patch this week in taking some of the flak damage away and increasing some of the continuous damage in place of that as well. We did just release a really good and quite detailed article on how the anti-air works. If you guys are interested
I highly
in that.
recommend people read that. It's very, very useful.
And guys, I'm going to drop that link for you guys in the dev blog again. Let's proceed forward. We're not far off being able to go and get in their cap, although that Benson is in their cap at the moment too. And yes, guys.
As a perfect example, we just wiped half a squadron of that Shikaku because he hit a flak burst.
Oof, nice. He was not dodging then, hey?
No.
Got a reversing Mogami there. Let's try a salvo his way. I'm gonna hit a heal too. Oh, didn't quite have the aim right. We did a clan test, tier 6 CV with a Salem. Salem anti-air was poor. Okay. Well, it's a good thing anti-air, as we mentioned, in the hotfix is going to see some adjustments. That Baltimore is quite heavily pushing into that Benson smoke. I hope he's going to be okay.
I hope so. I'm thinking that Benson's not there anymore.
Well, yeah, okay, he has moved onwards now, but previously we were not actually capping, so he was still there for a little while. Which was a little scary there. Tia Rico says, Stuntman has a great YouTube channel. Subscribed for over a year. Great stats. Yes, he certainly does, and that's why we are showing him off today. If you guys have not checked out his YouTube channel, I have just dropped it in the chat one more time for you guys. Make sure you check him out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button to stay up to date with all the Stuntman's content, because you definitely will not regret it.
Yeah, thank you, Tia Enrico. Much appreciated. It's always nice to hear those. So I'm by no means the biggest, so it's very nice to hear that. Oh, almost got that reshow. 1300 health. No.
I'm just throwing shots into the Shokaku, who's just kind of sitting there. That's one mistake I'm seeing a lot of CV players making at the moment, is literally just kind of hanging out and sitting still. It's definitely not a great tactic as playing as a carrier at the moment. You definitely want to keep your CV actually moving. It's one thing I've found.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's very easy for you to get caught up with, particularly from destroyers, which then become very difficult to kill as well. Ooh, good game for you, high caliber and
that
Confederate.
means I got my Halsey.
Oh man, everything's killing the stuff I want to kill.
Sorry. One last wave of Shikaku planes to worry about, and then I'll be safe.
Since all that's left is the destroyer, I'm going to swap over to AP. Hey, it's actually your friend, HMS Netgear.
Yes, it's Nap. And I just killed that entire squadron before he could drop. Okay.
Ooh. Got one of those funky Halloween camos on too. Come here, Nep. We just want to say hello. See how good I am at judging DD movement. Not very, apparently. Good game, good game. Well, it is time for us to give that next ship away, which is going to be the Massachusetts for one lucky winner. Let me go ahead and get the details of our lucky winner. Congratulations, who are 2012 from the EU server. You are the winner of Massachusetts. I will make sure they get that credited to you within the next week. Congratulations.
That's 34 plane kills. I'm quite chuffed with that.
Like, he kept driving into your flak, that's for sure. Congratulations, top of the board there. I only took out 8 planes, but I wasn't being as focused as much as you were.
Yeah, I had their attention by shooting them quite a lot.
Nort asks, are there any plans to add a skill element to anti-air? Currently, good carrier can minimize incoming damage, and good surface ship can't do anything in response. There's no post skill, just CV player is RNG AI of anti-air guns. At the moment, Nort, we do have some plans to make some changes to anti-air to make it less dodgeable for the CV player. There is a write-up about it in the dev blog. I will link that one more time for you. Okay, we got time for one more game. What shall we go high? Shall we go low? Why don't you pick what we play this time?
Okay, let's go for something. Let's see. Something at high tech, maybe. Oh, we could do. We might. Yeah, let's.
Oh boy.
Okay. Where's my captain?
What tier are we doing so I can at least grab a ship?
We're doing tier 10.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, we did have a request. If we're going to go tier 10, I'm going to take out the German big boy. That's not it. I'll quickly spec it.
Feeling in a very colonizing mood right now.
Oh, are you playing a Conqueror?
No, I don't actually have the Conqueror yet.
Ah, okay. So you're colonizing. You're playing some British.
Some people might consider this worse than Conqueror.
Is it a Mimitar?
It is not.
Oh. Could you be daring for something?
There's one more ship it could be.
Oh, geez. What else is tier 10? Done the cruiser. Oh. You're being awfully audacious, aren't you?
I very much am.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, let me just quickly grab some modification, grab some upgrades here. I'm going in my GK. I'm gonna go full secondary spec so I can be a little bit trolly with the pew-pews. Almost there. And let me just grab, at least let me put a det flag on, because, you know, that's always embarrassing when you det in the first half of the game. Can confirm I've done it before.
Yes. I run det flags on any test ship now, because I'm just like, I'm paranoid. I'm just like, I'm not going to get much good video out of this if I just detonate. Thankfully, carriers can't.
Yes, that is very true. I guess audacious carriers, captains love the smell of napalm in the morning. Oh boy.
Oh, yes, we do. I'm going to enjoy this before they nerf it.
Andreas Muller, is there anything in the works about the fighters becoming more reactive? Right now you drop them and most of the time the other CVs do not get attacked while in the zone. When you drop them, Andreas, it does take a moment for the planes to fly out to that point of which you've dropped them. So there is a little bit of a reactionary time, if you will. Josh Prescott asks, is it me or are the community contributors much better players than the people who make the game? Well, you have to consider that the people who make the game, are great at coding, are great at game design, a lot of other multitude of factors. To be a great game developer or great game designer, you don't necessarily need to be the best at playing the game. also, same for like the community teams, for example. You don't necessarily have to be the best at playing the game, but yes, the developers do play the game. Why, you know, we don't necessarily have the time to clock hundreds of games per week. That is because, you know, we do have other areas of responsibilities, you know, while we are at work, not just, hey, it's time to go play the game. I wish I could just rock up to work and play the game for 8 hours at a time and collect my paycheck, but I do definitely have other responsibilities.
That'd be a dream.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, well, I'm gonna head towards more A area and see what we can find over here. But we definitely do have people, for example, here in the NA office who are definitely more skilled. For example, Mr. Kami Samurai, who at least the NA side of the community will know quite well. He and I both have close to a 70% win rate. We both have over 15,000 games. But not necessarily, for example, our social media manager won't necessarily need to have the same sort of skill level that Kami and I have, for example. Hertz Chen, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Thank you for bringing your friends over there. World of Warships CCV Wargaming Tournament. That would be a lot of fun. Would you be down for that, for example? Stuntman, what would you think of that? Staff vs CCs.
That would be a lot of fun, actually, yeah. I'd be down for that.
The biggest trouble, however, is always trying to just get everyone together at the same time.
Yeah, scheduling is by far the hardest thing about arranging anything.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Oh, wow. Okay, so there's no one actually over here, so I think I am going to end up turning back here.
I was going to have a cyclone here.
Yeah, we are, so that's a good point. I just hope our team doesn't stagnate too much, too far behind the G line like it looks like we are at the moment, sort of thing.
Hopefully that force at sea will be able to push through.
Just duckering some Hakaru planes here. Collecting me some
Hopefully.
Sweet plane damage. Fem, when are the new flooding mechanics implemented? I do not have a date for that at the moment. They're just in work in progress status on the dev blog, so they're probably a patch or two away, would be my guess. I have camo on, I thought. Oh, maybe I don't. Apparently I don't have camo on. Whoops.
Whoops, indeed.
Look. Every now and then it just gets a little warm inside.
Speaking of warm, Dimitri's is toasty.
Oh, yes?
Oh, and he put out a single fire. Feel sorry for him now.
Looks like their Hakaru is doing some stealth torp runs there against our Bismarcks. One thing that this, what do you feel about, what do you think of the new prioritization of AA guns on side to side? Do you like that mechanic?
I like the idea of it. The interface is not the most great, I guess would be a kind way of putting it, but I like the idea of having to reinforce a sector. It introduces some skill play into it to say, I need this side reinforced for a boost. It lets you manage it a bit more. Mm-hmm. So you, as a player, get a bit more control. You don't have to use it per se, but if you really want to actually maximize it, it is best to learn to use it.
Yeah. No, I definitely, I heavily agree with that. I mean, what's the sense of having guys on AA turrets on the other side of the ship when you're very obviously being attacked from the other side, sort of thing? So right. To me, it makes perfect sense in a logical waypoint, but I do agree. I feel like we might have some room to tweak the execution of actually how that works still. Lord P. Vapor, this is a wargaming stream. We're gonna keep on the wargaming stuff. That information is available elsewhere. You can ask me after the stream. Why build secondaries and not go in them? The reason is if I was to push into A cap by myself against 4 ships, that's essentially just a suicide run. Like, it's not going to maintain my ship's life for very long. And, you know, yes, I am secondary spec, but I'm not going to YOLO charge for the sake of using my secondaries. I will wait and push in at a better time at a better location. Because just because you spec your ship a certain way doesn't mean at that exact moment you should be playing it that way if the time doesn't call for it. You now with the Cyclone moving in soon, now pushing into a position where there's less, you know, where there's more help, and it's not a completely off-tiered situation in terms of 4 battleships v1, you know, I will start moving in and start specking for start utilizing the benefit of actually being secondary spec'd.
I can start picking some of these battleships off now.
Yeah, and I've got your support for that, which is good too. Okay, almost in secondary range of that F to Gerb. We'll get some good secondaries going. Ducka 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 here very soon. There they go. Oh, that sweet secondary sound though. Oh. Although I am being mid-weighed. Didn't have a choice there. I needed to definitely turn into those torpedoes to avoid getting hit by as many of them as possible. And keep turning back. I have my planes on them, which is good. We'll sit right between them. Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna swap back to this side since this side is my now forward-facing side, as it were. Hopefully I can work on that gearing as he comes around the corner here as well. Stunt has also dropped me... Oh wait, no, that's my little fighter. Kinda... Ooh, good citadel there on the Monty. If you have a little bit of space to drop a little fighter over me, that definitely wouldn't
I'm on my way.
Appreciated. I was gonna say, it definitely wouldn't go astray. Oof. This is gonna kill me, unfortunately. Oh, it actually didn't! That's surprising. It's not what I expected to happen there. Their CVs are still heavily interested in me. Well, I was gonna die to the CV anyway. figured I might as well try and get the DD while I was close. Whew. That was a bit rough there, I won't lie. As soon as I started getting focused by that CV, man, I got a little bit frosty in there. But still. Guys, yes, I could have hit Hydro. I knew the DD was going to taunt me anyway, and with the CV about to taunt me, it really didn't matter the Hydra or not, so. Is the goal to get AA cruisers so that could deny a full strike get back to their full strength? What we're hoping to achieve is balance. What that looks like at the moment, we are very, we want AA cruisers to definitely have an impact on anti-air, but we don't want it to get to the stage where, the anti-air is so outlandishly strong that it's not fun for the CV player. There is a balance there somewhere. It's just going to be a little bit difficult to find, and we're open to that, and we've been very honest and open even initially with, hey, this is going to take some time to balance. But all I can suggest to you guys is keep providing your feedback, as it is very, very vital, and it is very useful for us. Be constructive with your feedback. Tell us why you don't like something. Tell us, what that effect has on you as a player. Going for the simple, I don't like it because I don't like it, and it's silly, doesn't really help us in figuring out what the pain points are and how to address them better. So keep your criticism constructive, and make it usable for us so we can get stuff done for you and the rest of the player base as well. Oh, that you got flacked to death there, didn't you?
Yeah, I was trying to bait out the fighter more than anything, see if we can get him to use downcon as well, but I don't want anything of it.
A tour pad, I will address this again for anyone who is curious. The reason we released the rework on the live server is because there is data that would have been unobtainable on the PTS just due to the nature of the PTS. Majority of the games on the PTS were played, 2 human players, all against bots in predominantly co-op modes, where the bots are very predictable in the way they play. So it really did not generate us the sort of feedback we needed, and the sort of data we needed to be able to assess and make balanced changes. By releasing onto live server, it gives us a lot more usable data, and the fact that, the CVs are playing against real players, it is, how it's going to be in actuality. So it actually allows us to balance quicker and more effectively than had we tried to consistently balance this on PTS even longer. So it needed to come out on live server so that we could get the sheer volume of data we needed to make the balance changes required. That's why it went out on live, that's why we released it. And as I mentioned before, we were very open from the very beginning that additional balancing would be made post-release. Grunigan? Do you know why Wargaming decided to allow the hack the ability to stealth torp? Was it so ship style or for another reason? I don't think there was a set, hey, we're going to make it able to do this, that, or the other. Obviously, we got it wrong there. And we are on hot patch 8.0.1 are addressing the issues with the Hakaru in that, we have been, it's blatantly aware that, that is not how we want the balance for the Hakaru to be like at the moment. So we are addressing that and nerfing that aspect of the Hakaru. Again, this is something that necessarily might not have come out during the PTS, and now that we have it in live server with live players and we're getting the sheer volume of feedback we need, we can make these changes and balance the game a lot quicker. Marco GN, if you've got feedback, make sure you're posting it in the appropriate place on the forums. Unfortunately, live streams are not the best place for providing this sort of feedback, because unfortunately it's too difficult for me to write all the feedback down midstream. Yes, the reason, Marco Jin, as And Starship, yes, the reason co-op CVs no longer exist is because we need to reprogram them, since obviously how CVs play has completely changed. So we want the bots to be rebalanced in that regards too. They will make it back in the future. Leon, not really at the moment. I'm still making sure I'm comfortable with the rework before I start making tutorial and guides on it. But there's loads of great media from all of our CCs, Stuntman included, you know, who can probably give newer players some pointers as well. So check out some of their media. I do like the Audacious. I'm so glad to have a British representation in aircraft carriers. We've been waiting for them for a very long time.
Yeah, it's very nice to see them. Seeing all the planes as well, like seeing these wyverns in the air. Oh, it's lovely.
So who won the
plane sound just disappeared.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't hear their engines anymore. Oh well.
That's okay. We are aware of some of these.
It's game over.
Nice. Good game. Awesome. Well, that pretty much brings us to the end of our stream today. Once again, Stuntman, thank you for being here. Do you have any final words that you would like to say to our viewers before we close off the stream today?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to do this. Been a lot of fun. So thank you everyone for coming out and watching. If you're new to my content, go check out some of the... if you're interested in CV Rework as well, go check out... I've done a whole list of videos on the new British. I did videos on the premiums. And like even how the surface ships feel in AA as well. So I'll be continuing to update that with the hot fixes and all that's coming on. So I'll also be talking about Russian battleships very, very soon. So if you're interested in those, hit me up. Thank you, everyone. Love you.
Wonderful. Congratulations to our two winners today. Monkeyboy_1 from the NA server. And the second winner, who was... Hurrah 2012 from the EU server. You will receive your ships within a week. It's been a great lot of fun, guys. I will see you on Friday for Sea Trials Ranked Season 11 edition. Hopefully with Mr. Kami Samurai. We'll see if he is available for that. If not, captains, we'll see you on the high seas real soon. Take care for now.